Hello, everybody, and welcome to Take Your Time, a Persona podcast where we talk about Persona 3 Reload in real time, along with the in-game calendar dates. I'm your host, Tom Marks, joined by your other host, Jonathon Dornbush. Jonathan, how are you?
Tom, this is not a bit. As soon as you said, "Are you ready?" before we started, and I said yes, I immediately felt and had to suppress a burp. It was immediately about to come up as soon as you said hello, and I was like, I'm about to ruin this take. Look at me. And it was so much mental focus on my end, so I'm proud of that. That's how I'm doing.
I thank you for avoiding that distraction with a distraction.
Anytime. That's
appreciate
what I
that.
do. I will also say, just excited this week. I am sure maybe there's a listener or two out there who has done this as well. I am very excited because I got my notification that the Persona 3 Reload vinyl is getting ready to come ship out on its way home. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I bought it sight unseen before we even started the show, before I started playing, because I was like, if I like it half as much as 5 and Royal's soundtrack, I'm going to love it. So I might as well.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
And
soundtrack is good.
Yeah, I turned out to love it. There's some music coming up I can't wait to talk about. There's some stuff toward the end that's real good, but we'll get there in time.
Until we get there, we do have a week to talk about now. This is the week of September 15th to the 21st. So another normal-ish week. This is a week where we have a big gap of time because of a festival, a typhoon, a cold.
Doesn't that happen to you all the time? Yeah.
I was like, what way, like, it could have gone 1,000 different ways, and I was not expecting the way it did go, so.
It does really pull the rug out from under you, because, yeah, it sets expectations that we're getting to, like, a major event sort of thing.
But we have a little bit less to talk about this week. Maybe we'll have time to talk about the old couple then, if we want to, or something like that, because we did max them out, or at least I did, and
I have before, so it's fine. I think I'm at 9 still.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we gotta get to these when we can, and this feels like a good down week. Maybe We'll do that.
Yeah.
Before we get there, though, we have to do our confidant call out. This is thanking everybody at the Palace Ruler tier over on patreon.com/takeyourtime. I did it.
Nice. It looked like you were reading a cue card, but I appreciate it. I like the idea that you just have a post-it note right above you.
Yeah, just always on my monitor. No, but I did intentionally slow down to say it correctly.
Growth.
As always, we really, really appreciate, obviously, anybody who listens regularly, watches regularly, comments, likes, all that stuff. We really appreciate the support, but we do want to give a special shout out to the folk who are backing us on Patreon at the highest tier. It means a lot to us. So those folk are Akechi is a Jelly Bean, Astral Clock Tower, Brody S, Cameron C, Claudia R, Dallas, Damon, Dan, Dan F, Danimal Lover 01, Default Titus, Dexter, Keegan H, Michael V, One More Month Until Metaphor, which is quickly going out of date, that username, Philip S, Programmer Sid, Sam K, Sarah M, Shade, Willie Wang Wang, and Zachary L. We appreciate you all quite a bit, and if you would like to back us, you can do so at patreon.com/takeyourtime, where we have shows a day early, ad-free, bonus episodes, which were actually, Jonathan and I, as of recording this, are recording a bonus episode live in person. Well, live for us.
I think our first ever.
Yes, in the entire history of the show, this will be the first time that you and I are in the same room recording a thing.
It's wild. I did just have a panic moment where I'm like, I don't know what the mic situation is going to be, but we'll figure it out. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit funny. But that whole episode, we've got something very special planned, very spicy. See what I did there?
I was just thinking it'll be in an audio form, but its ideal form will be a video format.
Yes, yeah. But if you're subscribed to the Patreon, you'll be able to get that on your feed directly. So we'll talk about that more once we've recorded it. Once that episode is going up, we will not just cryptically leave it to we're going to record it first.
The way timing works of the month, since it's September, is it might go up the week this episode goes up before our next one, depending on timing. But we'll get there. You'll see it in your feeds, and then we'll talk about it on the next week. But yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
So that's coming up. Last thing before we get into the actual week, we have a pop quiz. Jonathan, I asked we talked about Shinji's bus stop sign weapon that he can get. And I asked, what is written on it? Which
The longest walk to get there. I did not know where that question was going last week. I was very confused. I appreciated it.
well, there was a lot of branches of things I could have asked about.
Oh, I was waiting for the branch. Yes.
Now that we're here to specifically, I don't know what is actually physically written on it in Tartarus because I didn't go into Tartarus, but if you look at the item description in your inventory, it specifically says what is written on it, and that was the answer I was looking for. So what are the right and wrong answers we got from the readers and listeners out there?
Well, Mitch gave us big thing to swing.
Okay.
Which I love. I really hope that is what's written there. And then I think we only got wrong answers this week. I think you might have stumped everyone. Though, let me actually, no, we might have a right answer over on YouTube. From YouTube, we do have from Passel of Hogs, we have 2 specials.
Okay, love that.
I appreciate as well. And then Q. Ruddock wrote bus stop, school front gate, Iwatodai Station South area, and followed by the bus schedule below it.
Wow, that's elaborate. I mean, that might be accurate, depending on if you look at the actual sign. And now I don't know.
So
like
potential credit. Really. So what does it actually say? Because I was like, I don't want to look. I don't want to spoil this for myself. I want to...
In the actual item description, it says front of school on it.
Okay, so that's close enough to, I think, Q. Ruddock with the school front gate.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's why it might say a lot more. I think it actually does. That is actually accurate. I believe Q. Ruddock gave us the actual in Japanese description of everything on the front.
Hell yeah. That's what that's the dedication I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it is a front of school, which I love that. I love the implication that Shinji ripped a sign out of the school that he is currently not attending and he's using it as a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe just like ripped it up as he was walking into Tartarus.
Well, if it was given to us by Elizabeth, it means that she just ripped it out of the ground one day and was like, this'll do as a reward, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, man. Weird one.
Yeah.
Weird one.
Good
love
one.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Again, I love that there are 2 different Persona games where you can wield a traffic sign as a weapon.
It's great. Yeah.
Feels very like a dragon as well in its zaniness.
Does that have a calendar system?
No, it does not.
Fair enough. All right.
I mean, time passes in it, but no, it does not have an actual calendar system.
Loose enough that it works for me. Anyway.
Let's jump into it, though. Let's start with September 15th and get to the actual week. So, this day opens with a conversation with Akihiko in front of the school, where basically he just says, man, I just want to take on all 3 of the shadows that are left at once. And you can kind of just be like, cool your jets.
All right, hot shot.
He asked you if you would want to do that too, I think. And you can be like, I don't know.
That would be a fun feature, though, if you could just take on multiple of the boss shadows at once in like a boss rush mode.
That would be interesting. Can I tell you a unfortunate sort of thing, though?
Sure.
I mean, I guess this is different. I hate boss rushes in video games.
I get that. It's never something... Go ahead.
I'm literally like, this came up like a week ago where I was talking to my wife and I was like, I wonder if this game is going to boss rush at the end. If all of these shadows are going to come back, where I just had this sort of like inkling. I was like, maybe this is structured like that.
That's I have no disrespect for like people who enjoy it. It's just one of those things where like when I hear, oh, we're adding a boss rush mode, it does nothing for me. Like it doesn't make me upset. It doesn't inherently make me excited to go back to it for whatever reason. Even if I loved the boss fights in a game, it has never been something where I'm like, I need to go back and play that. Just not my personal flavor.
It's the only reason I never beat Shovel Knight. I got to the end, I got to the boss rush, and I just sort of stopped.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the only part of Hollow Knight I've never beaten or finished is the last, I think it was the last DLC or update they did was this big extremely challenging, elongated boss rush thing that you could do. And again, respect the hell out of that challenge, and the people who want to take it on, it just does not interest me.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, sorry if we just lost every listener out there, but yeah, it's definitely an Akihiko preference. I get that.
Yeah, totally. But today we just have free time, I think. I think the only thing that happens today on either side of it is that the shopping items show up and that you get that emergency vest, which is super powerful armor.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But what did you do? Give me your day and your night.
My day, I hung out with Bebe and got him to rank 7.
Cool.
And then in the evening, I did what you probably also did and hung out with our caffeinated little friend, Ken.
No, I did not do that.
Oh, you didn't?
No. Was he available that evening?
He was. He was on the second floor. I think you might have had to look at your phone or explore, but you had to go up to his room again.
Because I did that with him the next night. I did that with him on the 16th.
Okay, so we can talk about it then. But yeah, that's what I did this night.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, during the day, I hung out with Koromaru. I got him. So we are talking about these, right?
Yes, go for it. I've seen them all. I think it's just fair game at this point. We're going to go through them as we get to them.
Yeah. This is just the continued saga of Koromaru being the best boy. So he sees that woman who offered to take him in previously.
Yes.
Comes back and gives you guys taco-free takoyaki, which is takoyaki for dogs. And basically just is like being friendly, and then that mean dog that was chasing the boy in the other it's like the Avengers of Koromaru's scenes. All the people are coming in. So the mean dog shows up and looks sad and hurt and is hungry, and so Koromaru shares his takoyaki with them. And then you realize he has a collar. You bring him to the police station. They contact the owner, and the owner has apathy syndrome. And Kurosawa says that this has been a common thing of pet owners getting apathy syndrome and then the pets having to go to the streets because they have no one taking care of them. And Koromaru sort of steals his resolve and wants to take down the shadows to save all of the pets and the people. And as far as I understand it, these scenes are added for Reload.
That is my understanding as well. We might be a little off. Maybe some of this is in there, but yeah, the like linked episodes or whatever the term is. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, this sort of perspective is really interesting to me. I like that the game is using these sort of goofy scenes to explore more of the ramifications of the Dark Hour and what's going on, because this was an angle I hadn't considered, that the people who got apathy syndrome are abandoning their responsibilities, leaving their pets behind, right? That's a fascinating direction that if you hadn't been able to hang out with Koromaru and Koromaru hadn't been more than just the dog in the corner of the lounge, I wouldn't have really thought about that. So I appreciated it for that.
Yeah, it does feel like a chance to maybe go back and dip into where they didn't get to in that regard, in a way that does feel very modern, of like, hey, they probably would have dug into this more if they had the chance and opportunity to. So it's nice to see that stuff come through in this way. You know, it goes back kind of to us talking in those first few weeks of with the train, like what if like something else, like a cruise ship of people, something happened on there with the Dark Hour. Like there's all these possibilities that it starts to create, and it's a really interesting thing that I'm happy to see aspects like this pop up.
Can you imagine being on a cruise ship and being the only one who doesn't go into a coffin?
I thought you were just going to say, can you imagine being on a cruise ship? Because I've never been on one. But yes, that would be a nightmare for me. I'm
horrifying.
I couldn't do it. Yeah.
But then in the evening, I didn't hang out with Ken. I didn't realize he was available today. I did hang out with him the next evening. But this evening, I cooked with Shinji.
Nice.
And we made shrimp something and shrimp tempura. That's right. And he got his next ability which now I understand is not a new characteristic. It's just, or new ability. It's just an upgraded version of the original one. So previously he got attack and defense. Now he gets Heat Riser, right? He gets all of them.
Which is great. What a boon to have at the beginning of a fight.
Yeah. That rules.
He becomes a tank when you really focus on him. He's super happy to it's great to have him in the rotation. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that he just has so much health and revels in being at low health and has so much damage when he hits hard that I'm excited to keep using him, which is why I especially sort of focused his hangouts. I'm glad I got both of them already done.
That's fair. Yeah, I think between this week and last week, like I did similarly with Koromaru, just because I'm really trying to use him a bit more when I didn't last time. So it's been nice to like get him upgraded as well. Yeah, it's the sort of like second batch, I guess, of party members has a lot to love. It's good.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Moving on to the 16th. We get a little conversation that says that the archery team for the cultural festival that's coming up this weekend has decided to do a maid cafe. And not only that, Yukari drew the short straw and she has to be the maid. Now, I don't fully understand maid cafes in the culture of Japan, but it feels weird that teachers would allow that as an option.
Sure. Regardless of, like cultural stuff aside, it's just like surprising that teachers would be okay with that as part of it. My other bigger qualm, it's funny that we came away with very different qualms. Mine was, I don't understand the tone of this conversation. Because at first, it seems like they're gross, like they're like, hey, we're going to get to see her in her maid outfit, like gross, like teenage boys. But then at the end of it, they're like, we're going to go see her because she's upset and we want to support her.
Yeah.
So they're like weirdly being like positive about, I'm very confused about what they're.
My take was that was a sarcasm.
For us listening. Okay.
Yeah, that they were being like, well, we gotta
That's
support her.
fair.
It's terrible.
I guess I didn't
we gotta
hear
go
the
support
sarcasm
her
in it, but yeah,
with
that
some
makes
like
sense.
ogling undertones.
That makes more sense. Yeah,
the horny high school boys coming out
sure
to support the maid cafe.
I should have caught on to that. I will say almost all of my free time the last few weeks has been watching anime, and I really should have been able to clock the horny characters and their tone. But here we are.
No, but you're right. They sound more earnest than you would expect in that.
Yes, yeah, that's what threw me. But I get what you're saying.
So what did you do? Give me day and night again, because this is just another free day.
Yeah. Well, again, even though you've betrayed her and left her out in the cold rain, I hung out with Yuko and got our relationship to rank 7.
I'm fickle. I'm sorry.
I'm not a cold-hearted monster like you. And
I
then,
almost did hang out with her today, and then didn't instead.
She's really infrequently available, I realized. So
yeah, she is. I do, to be clear, by the way, I do want to hang out with her more. I do like her as a character, genuinely.
I'm just giving you crap. And then in the evening, I read with Aegis, and they got a new ability. I forgot to write down what that ability was, but they got a new ability. What about you?
During the day, I hung out with Yukari. So that was the rank 2 for Yukari, because I'm a courageous. She wants courage, right? No, the charm. She wants charm.
Yes, she's
I'm so charming. Yeah. So we hung out again. And then in that evening, I spent time with Ken. So is this the Ken where you go in and you meet his hamster?
Is it a hamburger?
Yes. You meet Hamburger the hamster.
Yes.
Yes.
I did that scene as well. I was going to say, what's really funny is as soon as that scene started, I paused the scene and was trying to read like the comic or the shirt or whatever is on the ground in this background of the scene to be like, is this going to be what the pop quiz is? Let me try to see what this little graphic is. Okay. And then I paid attention to the scene, which is very sweet. It's a very...
Sure.
Yeah. It's one of those... it's an interesting scene in light of the scene with him and the kid where it's like we're really learning to understand this is a child who seems to be taking the weight of the world on his shoulders because he's already planning for his demise.
Yes, it's extremely... It is very sad, this scene. It's not outwardly sad, but the sort of what the implications of it are super sad, which is exactly what you were saying, right? Ken is so world weary already and has seen so much terrible stuff already that he is making plans if he dies in Tartarus, which is not a thing that any other character has really, they've talked about, it's dangerous, we got to be careful, we got to support each other, all that stuff. But he's straight up making a will.
Yeah. He's bribing us for it, practically. Like, he will give us anything he can to make sure that we take care of Hamburger, his hamster, after. And it's crushing. It is. And I really love the responses you can give here.
Yes.
I feel like the tone of them is just very older brother or just like older friend kind of saying like, sure, kid, I'll do this for you. Even though you're like, I'm going to make sure this kid, nothing bad happens to him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, you also get an opportunity to be like, stop talking like that, and he sort of brushes it off.
Yeah.
Right? He sort of doesn't really, he's like, sure, I won't die, but also seriously, take care of my hamster when I die.
Yeah, it's rough. We're definitely getting, I think, a lot more understanding of his sort of emotionally fraught interior, even though we don't know his full backstory yet.
So that's what we did that day, I think? You already told me your evening. Yes.
And that was the evening. I hung out with Igus, yeah.
Right. So the next day, 17th, you have more talk of this typhoon that's coming, right? People worried it might cancel the festival. You don't really know what's happening. It's supposed to land right on the Saturday when the festival is supposed to be going. I think this is where they start talking about how it is corresponding, or right after the festival is a holiday break. You have a few days off in a row right after when the festival would be. But then again, it's just another full free day. So tell me what you did.
I prepared for this wonderful typhoon by I'm trying to mix it up this week, so I went and hung out with Haraga, the art club, and got him to rank 7. So trying to keep a lot of the school ones in the 6 to 8 range right now is kind of my goal. And then I brushed Koromaru in the evening. He did not gain a new ability, but we had some quality time.
Well, apparently, I'm just better at brushing Koromaru than you.
Of course. What did you do today?
No. So I hung out with Yukari again, so I got her up to rank 3. We've talked about this before, but like, I just am more interested in the characters who are in my party and learning more about them, so I'm more interested in doing those ones when they are available.
Oh, yeah. I did the exact same my first playthrough, so I don't blame you. As soon as I could hang out with the core team, I did. That was my focus. Yeah.
And then I also brushed Koromaru in the evening, but this was my 3rd time doing it, so I got his ability. I got his level up for that.
Okay. Was this the first one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was just looking because I want to look up Igus's. For reference, Igus is also essentially a stacking ability, so it's just the first ability becomes better. But yeah, Koromaru's is helpful as well.
That's all for that day then?
Yeah, easy days.
This is such a funny week. It's very... It feels like a continuation of the last week, but we are definitely in that in-between full moon period where... they're just letting us roll, just letting us cook.
And I think, by nature of, we talked about this earlier, but I think just by nature of the difference in this game versus something like 5, where obviously a lot of things were more fully built out because there were, years and years of experience and development changes and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. We're dealing with a overall like slimmer game, and that's okay. So yeah, some of these weeks, they'll be quicker. That's all right.
Yep, exactly. So moving on to the next day, this is the first day where we start to break out of that mold, right?
Yes.
So the conversation at the beginning on the 18th is that the film festival is coming back, but it's only coming back for a single day on the 23rd, which doesn't scream film festival to me.
That just means you're putting in a film. That's just, there's a screening happening.
The movie theater will be open on the 23rd, we hear.
And that's where the climax of the game will occur. Surprise.
This is the day that the typhoon is supposed to hit. And so it's also the day you basically don't get I think you don't get anything today. You just, it's the first of 3 skipped days, essentially. This one just has story. So you see ominous clouds in the sky, and you decide you say I should just head straight home, otherwise I'm going to get rained out. And on the way through the station, you run into Takaya, who says, hey, we should take a moment and have a chat while we can, since we ran into each other out in the daylight this time. And there's also a really interesting moment here, which I really like, where you say, well, what about the typhoon? We're about to get typhooned? What about the typhoon? And if you say that, he says, I don't care about the typhoon. That doesn't worry me. Let's just talk. Which is a really, like, even just that point I really enjoy, because it's so in line with what Takaya's philosophy around the dark hour is, right? His whole point is that the dark hour is just another disaster that's going to hit humanity, and if it's not the dark hour and it's not shadows causing problems, then it'll be natural disasters or war or whatever. So the idea that there's this literal natural disaster looming in front of you, and he's like, I'm not worried, like, that does not concern me, is exactly in line with the idea that the shadows are this disaster that's looming, and he says, I don't care about that. I want my power.
I mean, it speaks to his confidence and just sort of the ego to some extent that he has of like, I don't need to worry about some simple typhoon. We'll be fine. The matters of, this philosophical debate that they're having is far more important to him. And that's a small risk to be out in the storm.
Yes, exactly. So you chat with him. He asks about Chidori. He basically says, hey, so did you kill her or did you not kill her? Clearly you took away her evoker, because otherwise she would have murdered you all and escaped already. But is she dead? And you can say, no, she's not dead. We don't kill people, right? And then he talks about how, obviously you figured out, if she's not dead, that means you figured out that she needs suppressants and that her persona is uncontrollable. He kind of reconfirms that slime thing you fought on the bridge together a little while back was a persona, I guess, a persona user's, the result of a persona user's persona killing them, which is why he got that prototype evoker from it as well. The thing that struck me throughout this whole conversation, well, I guess I'll keep going. This was just the way I took notes, was train of thought. And finally, he sort of eventually comes to the conclusion, once you've told him what's motivating you, why you're doing it, yada, 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 that he says, you know what? I can see nothing will change your mind, so we're gonna have to fight about this, right? I can't convince you not to do this, so we're gonna have to, and he says, our final confrontation will come in our own time. And he says he thinks it's a shame that you don't see the true value of your ability, that you're wasting it the way you are, and that you're throwing this away when it's so powerful. And then says, all right, at some point we're going to have to fight. See ya. The thing that struck me about this is him finally admitting this, he's so diplomatic. I was not expecting this character who sort of gleefully shot someone in the back as our introduction to him, to try so hard to resolve this situation with words, right? You're a high school kid. There's nothing stopping him from just pulling the gun that he has in his holster out and shooting you. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't want to do that. He really is trying hard, because I think partially is that he sees how special your persona ability is to control multiple, and he really is trying hard to talk you down, to change your mind, to use diplomacy in this situation rather than just fighting your team, which I didn't expect, and I think is a really interesting way to take this villain.
For sure. I wouldn't maybe go so far as to say he respects you, but he respects your power. And so I think
that's a fair distinction.
That's why he is taking this route with you, because he does see the value in keeping you in play and hopefully one day bringing you to your side. I do think the irony is not lost and is pretty prevalent of the idea that he's like, well, if you refuse to be convinced otherwise, and it's like, why don't you be convinced otherwise, my guy. Why don't you see my point of view? But he won't even, that's not even a consideration for him. Like, it is really just, he is so certain of his rightness here. And I think it just makes for a much more interesting dynamic between the two of you, because this could very easily go mustache twirly villainy, and it pulls back from there in a way I really respect.
Yeah, I agree fully. I don't know what I was expecting from Takaya and Strega when they were first introduced, but I sure as heck wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting any of the direction that it's gone.
It's fair. Yeah.
And I like that. I really do like that. I like when games can mess with archetypes and stereotypes and expectations like that.
No, absolutely. I think they swerve in really interesting ways with them that makes what could have been a very perfunctory side of the game feels so much more engaging, even if it's very slight. Like, you're not getting a ton of them in the grand scheme of the last 50 hours or so, but it's really memorable and interesting.
And it's also just good to have them dappled throughout.
Yes.
Right? Because that was a complaint that I had at the very beginning of this game, is that you didn't have, again, not to overcompare, but Persona 5 gives you a villain at the very beginning of the game and sort of gives you this North Star of something is wrong with something, and there's hints of that very early, and there's not really anything like that in Persona 3 until you meet Strega. And I've appreciated that the confrontation hasn't already happened, that instead you are learning more about these people and interacting with them in ways that are not how you would expect given their introduction. Is just it makes the whole thing feel richer. It makes it feel like you're actually learning who these people are.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and obviously has not finished, so I won't say anything more. Let's go home in the rain.
Yeah, so you get back and everyone is huddled in the lounge because the typhoon just hit, and you're soaking wet. You got rained out because Takaya wanted to talk to you. And you find out a few things. You find out that the festival got canceled, and not only that, the typhoon's supposed to be a slow one. It might deal it's expected to do a lot of damage to the city. So you basically just all have to stay indoors for a few days. So it's not only the festival got canceled, you're trapped while this typhoon is passing over. Junpei sort of goes around the circle asking everyone what their plans are during the break after the typhoon, for those few days after that it's going to happen. And really, he's just asking what everyone's plans are because he wants to brag that he's going to be visiting Chidori all break.
Yeah, he's so excited to tell them. It's a very funny, like, what are you doing? Anyway, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And specifically, he's like, she asked me to come and visit her. She wants me to.
He's smitten. It's cute.
He's so smitten.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with conversations with him at the lounge sort of generally this week is he's fully treating it like they're dating now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
he's on cloud 9 all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's reached... This relationship has jumped so far in his mind. It's very cute. But yeah, you get... Everyone else is pretty much taking it easy, doing simple stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the last sort of moment of this is that Ken says that he's going to go pray during the break because he has a wish he wants granted, and both Akihiko and Shinji get dialogue boxes that are just ... and Shinji gets 2 of them. So, they feel guilty in some capacity that we have not had explained yet, but I've previously speculated about.
Sure. But it's left
and
there.
Then, yes, it's left there.
Because you don't feel well.
Yeah, you get a cold from the rain very quickly, and you just have to go straight to bed.
I do like that it opens the night for you, and it's like, go ahead, but you have to go to bed. That's all you can do.
Yeah. You can't even... I was going to go to the computer and stay up, but no. You just got to go to sleep.
And I forgot about this, and so my plants blossomed during this time off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I could have gotten myself a few extra days, but it didn't work out because we fell asleep.
Yes. And we go to the Velvet Room. So during the dark hour... Oh, I just dropped a dice on my desk. I'm sorry for everyone who heard that. During the Velvet Room...
That is so... I'm also playing with dice, so...
I got a D4.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's tiny.
Mine are metal... Oh, wait, hold on. Mine are metal, so if they fall, it's a catastrophe.
It's a lot louder.
Yeah.
For anyone curious, it rolled a 1.
Damn.
Well, that's D4.
Yeah. Still. It's rough. D4s make
true.
me angry. Anyway.
Where were we? Oh, right. Dark hour.
We fell asleep.
You get called to the Velvet Room this time. It's not a Pharaoh's conversation, which it usually is when it's randomly the dark hour in the evening. And Igor says, "It's been a while since I called you in here. I sense a great catastrophe in our future." So that's, basically just Pharaohs again, telling us the end is coming. And then he unlocks more special fusions for you.
Yep. It's just an excuse for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yay.
And then I looked at those special fusions, I think maybe the next day, and was like, I'm underleveled for all of these.
Mm-hmm. Except you didn't look at them the next day.
Not the next day, right.
Because you sleep for 2 days straight. I was not expecting this. I didn't know what I was expecting, but I definitely didn't expect fully skipping 2 days while you sleep off a cold. And it was especially one of those times where I love doing this podcast because I have a cold. And I just love when things line up, or when the people in the game are talking about how hot it is and I'm sitting in a 90-degree room, or when they're talking about how they have a cold and I'm here sniffling.
Oh, that's so funny. It
makes this whole thing worth it.
Exactly. Oh no, I can still fondly remember Christmas in Persona 5 being Christmas time. Yeah. Francis from the Patreon said, "It's kind of funny that you slept for 3 days due to a flu and no one is waking you up and everyone feels okay when they see you 3 days later."
Yeah, even one person, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Yukari, is like, "Oh, I should have cooked you something. Dang, I forgot. Well, next time."
Yep. Presumably someone checked in on you from the spy cameras they have in the room, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming more happened during these 2 days than just sleeping.
That's my headcanon, is that they were just snooping on you and making sure you were still breathing. And then
you just literally were asleep for 3 days or 2 days, and they were just checking in from afar.
Yeah, you were fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
when you arise on the 21st, the typhoon has passed. You can check in with people who are all like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're feeling better." And then you just get a free day.
Yeah, after an extremely nonchalant hello, it's like, yep, all right, just do a free day. Cool.
It's now the Elderly Appreciation Day or some Seniors Appreciation Day, I think. And then the next 2 days are 2 more holidays, but those will be doing next week, obviously.
Yeah.
So what did you do for this Elderly Appreciation Day?
I hung out with the youngest person I could and hung out with Maiko, not for a rank, just for points, because we were pretty low. So, hung out with Maiko for points. And then in the evening, disrespected my elders again, and I went to Tartarus, actually.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do all of it, but I did a good stretch of it. Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that next week, because
I
did not do Tartarus yet.
All good. I figured not. I just kind of was in the mood too. So, yeah. What about you?
I also hung out with Maiko. I got her up to rank 7.
Nice.
And without spoilers on her storyline, this was the one I was putting off because I knew what was going to happen. It was a very telegraphed thing she was going to do, and I decided the most responsible thing I could do as an adult was not make her do that thing by never talking to her again.
Well, if we're ever going to discuss it, you had to make the move, so I get it.
It's true. It did not go as badly as I thought it would.
Good.
And then in the evening, I made tea with Mitsuru, and that was the second time I've done that, so I have 1 more to go on that one.
Nice. Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah. That's the week. But I feel like we should do an Elderly Appreciation Day and talk about the old couple.
I think that fits well. We did not plan that going in, but it worked out. Yeah.
Sometimes things just line up, like old people and colds.
Colds. Yeah. The olds and the colds. If I titled our episodes, that's what this would be. The olds and the colds. Anyway, let's talk about them because they're the sweetest. They're just the best.
Yes, so obviously spoilers if you have not finished their social link line. They're available, I think, literally every day, pretty much.
Unless they're in Tartarus.
Unless they're in Tartarus, that's the other reason. Did you save Bankichi on your trip?
I did, yes. So
on Elderly Appreciation Day?
I did respect him in that way, yes, yeah.
How fitting.
Yeah, it all worked out.
It's all working out even.
Yeah.
This is the couple, the bookstore couple owners. If you want to skip this stuff, you can go ahead and skip it. The overall sort of arc of this story is that you make friends with them. You find out that their son tragically passed. There's a persimmon tree at the school that was planted in his honor or by him because he was a teacher, I believe, is the explanation there.
I'll pull up about that part, but I believe so.
Yeah, and then they find out that the persimmon tree is going to get cut down. They're very upset about it. You can try to help them not have it get cut down, and then finally they tell the school that it's okay for them to cut it down because not cutting it down would mean that the school would not build a new wing of classrooms, and they realized that it would be better to honor their son with more of the education that he loves at that school rather than a persimmon tree. So that's the rough sort of timeline arc of it. How do you like this one? How do you like the feel of these people in this storyline?
I think this one is a really great introductory social link. This is one of the earliest you can unlock in the game. And as we've said before, I think we've not been shy about it. I think they're adorable characters. I think sort of the interplay between the two of them, the husband being very wisecracking and whatnot, and the wife being really like caring, but trying to make up for some of his foibles is a really sweet counterbalance between the two of them. But I think the way in which, speaking about, especially from a comment we got a few weeks ago, forgive me for blanking on the name of who sent it in, but also just the idea of like, I do think a lot of these social links, whether or not I love them, do speak to so many of the central themes in this game. This one really dealing with the idea of loss and that impact on life and grief and all those things. I think this is a really nice introduction to the idea of that being a theme within the game that you're starting out with from the beginning. And seeing that, I don't think this is the deepest of experiences. Some of these are very brief. Some of them kind of go by in a flash, maybe repeat themselves a little bit, but I do think it is one that gives you a really kind appreciation for what these two have gone through, because it is I forget what the phrase is, but it is such a tragedy for parents to outlive their children. That is a common refrain of how tragic that is. And so to see them going through that and persevering in spite of it and still having joy in their life is, I think, really sweet. But yeah. What about you?
I also like, I echo basically everything you just said. I also really like that it avoids the sort of trope of you becoming their son's surrogate.
Yes.
It doesn't really get into that territory in the way that I think a lot of stories structured like this would, right? Obviously, they befriend you and they like having you around, but they're not really treating you like a son figure. They're sort of treating you just like a young friend they know, a regular, right? It's not quite that familial, and I appreciate that again, that it avoids that trope to some degree. Not fully, but like to some degree.
No, there's definitely one or two, especially early on, where I was like, oh, that's the route this is going, where they're going to treat me like, well, we've lost him, but we have you. And I am very glad it doesn't go to that extent, because I've hung out with these people for a total of 20 minutes and I've been very sweet to them, but at the end of the day, I'm not their son. And we can still be in each other's lives and still care about each other. And I think the lengths to which it shows these people dealing with their grief and what it means to them, but also realizing they're part of a larger community and they're part of more going on outside of them and how much people cared about their son as well, I think is all really, really sweet stuff and speaks to that on a kinder level than maybe, or maybe a less abrasive level than the first few do. Because if you really think about like Kaz and Kenji as, I guess these are like almost the trio of the first ones, and I guess Chihiro as well early on, but the two of them, it's like Kenji's and Kaz are both pretty, like, you're really invested in these high schoolers drama, and here you are getting something a little bit more outside of that and showing you that perspective and showing you what the trauma that they've gone through means for them, I think is really nice. And I also just love the location. The vibe of their bookstore is really cute.
Yeah, and Bukichi's just fun.
Yeah.
He's just a funny dude and behaves weirdly in a entertaining way and knows he's being a goofball a lot of the time, right?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic grandpa energy of just the very silly jokes, the pretending he doesn't know something but maybe he actually doesn't. All that sort of stuff is done really well. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing overall, I think the storyline is interesting. I think the idea that they tell them to cut down the tree at the end of it is a nice little twist of sorts, right? That they are learning to let go and also, not let go of their son, but let go of sort of the symbolic thing that they have been holding on to of him, and let it grow in a different way. I like that. The thing that the only sort of like main downfall of this storyline or the social link that I don't like is it feels like a victim of them figuring out the Persona 3 figuring out the formula still.
Sure.
And sticking to this idea of every social link is going to rank up 10 times, but we don't always have 10 scenes that we would like to show for this social link, because there are a lot of these conversations or a lot of these rank ups where you literally just go in. They say the same thing as last time or barely anything at all or nothing new.
Yeah.
And just say, oh boy, we're sad about the persimmon tree. Rank up. And then you leave. And more so than any of the other social links I've done, I feel like this one really falls victim to that of not really having a good reason for you to have a rank up thing for some of these events.
Yeah, this one could have been done in 5 and had the same effect. I'm totally with you there. I do think there is to your point, them figuring out how to make all of these things meaningful. And for me, I hold on to this one in the totality of it more so than the individual moments. Yeah, there is definitely, after 1 and 2, it kind of all blurs together until maybe 9 and 10 for me. It is very much like you go in, what happened? Or I'm sorry. And then it's like, oh, don't worry, my boy. We move on. It definitely happens a fair bit more here. I do think to some extent, because I guess to go the opposite route of my last point, because it is a little less like high drama, it's not so much that. There is obviously stakes to it, but the emotion of it is very much about these two reckoning with that very one specific, like what's going to happen with the tree. And to your point, I think it didn't need all of these 10 to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something that they did get better about going forward, right? Is they figured out a little bit more. This feels, to borrow the anime term, this arc feels like it has filler, right? Sure. It feels like it's a little padded.
Yes. Yeah.
And some of the other social links do too. But yeah, that was my only complaint here. But again, I do think you touched on it early on in this conversation. You summed it up well, that it is a really good intro one. Touches on the themes, has some fun moments, is available very frequently, so you're going to see it pretty early. It's not trying to be Yukari storyline or whatever, right? It's just trying to be something to get you into the world and into these characters and touch back on some of the main themes of the game. And I think it does that very well.
No, absolutely. I think it would be one of those things where, yeah, this makes so much more sense as one that you were introduced to, whereas I don't think the Kamiki storyline would be a great one to be introduced to.
Sure.
There is a different level of the way these stories get you into the themes here. And so, yeah,
it's also
pretty much.
It's also much more natural of a starting point than I think Kaz is, right? Or not Kaz, the other guy. The guy who's trying to date his teacher. I'm blanking on his name.
Kenji.
Yeah. It's
your
much more
best friend.
Where Kenji just sort of walks up to you and is like, we're friends now. And then you're like having these weirdly intimate conversations with him and you don't really know who he is yet. The fact that you have to go to this store and you meet these people and then you are returning to the store to chat with them makes getting to know them feel a little bit more natural and makes it becoming involved with their lives and their problems feel a little bit more natural early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, that's that. Did we have any? I think we had a comment, correct?
Well, just on that topic, actually, Mark did ask, what social links would you guys say you're most interested in getting back to and or finishing at this point? So I just kind of would love, I know we did a bit of a story check-in last week, but would love to know on the social link side, Give me like 2 or 3, I think, that you're most interested in getting back to at this point. Or finishing, I guess.
I do want to finish Maiko. I'm at 7, and I do want to know where that goes. Kamiki is the striped suit guy, correct?
Who you meet in the park, yeah.
Yeah, I want to know more about him for sure. But I'm also only 1 rank in with him, so it's a little hard to say he's one of my favorites or anything. I'm just curious about that one. Yeah, I do want to finish Maiko. I am interested in going back to Yuko, but I'm not like I'm not like captivated by her storyline necessarily. Similar with Bebe, I'm interested in going back to Bebe, but I'm not captivated with his storyline necessarily. I want to finish the Odagiri one because I just am so curious, because that one has been so all over the place in my eyes that I want to know how it ends. But that's like morbid curiosity more than being invested in that character. And then just the party member stuff. I'm just still interested in the party members.
How dare you not say Suimitsu? Or just Tanaka 3 times.
You know what? There was a day this week, I don't remember which one it was. You could hang out with like Koromaru, Suimitsu, Yukari, Chidori, Yuko, or
Chihiro.
Chihaya. Or Yuko. Chihiro, thank you. And I checked the thing. Literally no one hung out with Suimitsu. Literally didn't even show up. It wasn't even an option on there.
Justice for Suimitsu. I just want, even if you don't do it, we need to talk about it. You need to watch a video recap of it.
I'll do more of him at some point.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to say more, but anyway.
So yeah, those are I think right now top of my list in terms of interest in the character, and that doesn't necessarily mean I'm prioritizing it to do it.
Sure.
I would like to see where Maiko goes right now, and
that makes
then
sense.
The party members.
Yeah. I also would love to hear out there who, I think people obviously who have played, what your social links, your most favorite are, as well, or your favorite social links are, as well as just kind of for those maybe who are playing along, what you're gravitating toward, which ones you want us to focus on, and yeah, I just would be curious to hear. But Tom, quiz me.
So Jonathan,
yes,
you stole mine, and this week was so short that I didn't have a backup.
Oh no! What did I do? Was it the hamster?
It was Hamburger. I was going to ask what the hamster's name is. So,
I almost didn't say it because I was like, but it's too obvious. It's not going to be.
I just wanted people to make up hamster names.
That's
mostly.
fair. I mean, hey, send us your best hamster names.
I do have a backup.
Okay.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna rewind for anybody who hasn't been doing Ken's storyline. Good news. You might have an advantage in this one, because I'm going to go back to a pop quiz I didn't use from Ken's first storyline interaction.
Okay.
When you go to the ramen shop with him and get 2 specials. On the TV while you're watching with him, there's an ad. You already wrote this one down?
I think I have this one.
Well, I'm going to go a little deeper with it.
Damn it.
There's an ad for a cartoon show. Or maybe not a cartoon show. It might be a Super Sentai, so it might be like a Power Rangers style live action thing. There's an ad for a show called Featherman. And Featherman is a thing that also comes up in Persona 5. I imagine it also comes up in Persona 4, I assume. And specifically, the line is the TV says that Phoenix Ranger Featherman R, the Melancholy of Swallow, will air this winter as a TV special, and Ken's very excited about it. Specifically, though, he's excited because it's not normal. In fact, this one has a different main character, and I want to know, give me the deets. What's so different and special about Phoenix Ranger Featherman R, the Melancholy of Swallow? What makes it different? That's your question.
I'm trying to... Oh, did I... I think I might have written it down. Ooh, I'm excited.
Okay. Well, it's a fairly simple one, but it's a little while ago. It might test people's memories if they did this early, because Hamburger the hamster was stolen from me.
I'm sorry. Well,
no, it's okay.
Make Tom happy.
That's literally only happened like 2 or 3 times in the history of the show.
That's true. Yeah. And I've trained myself to avoid certain things now, I think, because I know they would make good ones. So, Yeah, write in with your best fake hamster names and the real answers to Tom's quiz.
Yes.
Over on Patreon.
Patreon.com/takeyourtime. You can write in at dornology@gmail.com, youtube.com/dornology. I'm at Tom R. Marks on social media stuff. He's at JM Dornbush. You can contact us there. You can like, you can subscribe, you can leave a thumbs up or a 5-star or whatever you want to do. It helps the show get noticed and popularized and more people joined in and all of that. Because that's what we want. We love this little community that we've built and that y'all have built with us. And we're always happy to see it grow and get new folk, new Persona fans in. So yeah, please let us know if you have answers or non-answers to those questions. And Jonathan, do we have anything else to round out?
No.
Wow, okay. Next week, we're going to be covering the 22nd to the 28th. Just another normal week. That'll be, I think, we have 2 more normal weeks before the full moon? Or 2 more full weeks before the full moon?
Wait, let me do the math on my hands. That would be the 28th. And then, no, I think the week after is the full moon. I think it's next week.
Week after is the full moon? Okay.
And then the week after is the full moon. So, yeah.
Okay.
We're getting close. And then, yeah.
Chugging right along.
Yes.
So next week will be a fairly normal week. Probably, almost certainly, we'll talk about Tartarus next week. I imagine I'm going to be going to Tartarus at least to some degree next week, because otherwise I have to do it the same week as the full moon, and that's always a lot to play through.
It is, yeah. The hours really pile up during those Tartarus runs.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't be too punishing after our bonus episode for you.
Yeah, we'll see. Once again, if you want to follow along with those bonus episodes, patreon.com/takeyourtime. This was a little bit of a shorter episode, but it was a little bit of a shorter week. So there you go. I think until next time, we'll see you later.